So, Phase 2 for Genshin Impact's 3.8 updates can be considered bait before the 4.0 Fontaine release, but it's a pretty darn good bait. How's it going, everyone? This is Kay, and let's review the Phase 2 banners to see if you should pull on it. Kokomi is a must-have for those who don't have her yet. Obviously, if you're saving for Fontaine characters, then it's okay to skip her, but Kokomi has become a phenomenal unit. For one thing, she's the best healer in the game. The Genshin community has always joked around saying if you have either Zhongli or Kokomi, you'll never die in the game, but there's truth behind it. Because you'll use her burst often, which heals the whole entire team, your health will always be high. Kokomi is also one of the most effective units against DOT enemies, but she wouldn't be an amazing character to pull for if all she does was healing. Kokomi is an excellent Hydro enabler or driver character. Thanks to this, she fits into a lot of teams, especially in Dendro teams. She also has consistent off-field Hydro applications since using her burst extends her jellyfish attack. Despite not being a crit character with Ocean Clam artifacts, her overall damage is quite good. So here's a character who makes you immortal basically, who can be splashed into any teams, has great Hydro application, and is adorable, especially if you played her story quest. You'd be crazy not to pull for her. Top tier 100% pull for her. Scaramouche can be an insanely powerful DPS unit, but sadly his full potential is locked behind Faruzan, which thankfully she's in the same banner as him. Sad part is, you can get like 3 copies of Scaramouche, and not a single Faruzan may show up. Now, do you absolutely need her? Of course not. With a good build, Scar can deal decent damage, but you'll be missing out on a lot of damage, so it's almost always recommended to use her with Scaramouche. So we're talking about a C6 Faruzan, and it's because of her last constellation, which gives insane crit damage boost, as well as consistency generating energy for him, so he can use his burst often. Again, you're missing out on a lot of overall damage without her. Now, I mentioned C6 Faruzan, but she's still quite helpful for him at lower constellations. Obviously though, the higher the sea level, the better. Now, would I recommend Scaramouche if we were to remove Faruzan completely out of the picture? No. He's fun to use, don't get me wrong, he's great for travel, but there are plenty of other more stronger DPS characters in the game. He's also very fragile, so if you don't have a shielder with you, well, you'll be seeing him falling a lot. And it's not like you can spam his dodge without wasting his flight stamina. We already talked about Faruzan, but let's talk about Rosaria and Yanfei real quick. Rosaria is pretty fun to use and is great as an off-field cryo enabler, although if enemies move out of her burst AoE, then it's less effective, or simply put, it's useless. At C6, she can really help physical DPS characters, especially if you have Eula. Yanfei is a pyro DPS character that I'm sure has loyal fans who still uses her on Abyss, but generally speaking, she's mid. As a main DPS, there are other pyro options you can use if you already have Joymia or Hu Tao, for example, even at C0, and yes, it's a little unfair to compare 4 stars with 5 stars, but generally, like I mentioned, if you already have those two, you'll most likely use them instead of Yanfei, even if Yanfei has higher constellations. So for the 3.8 characters for the Phase 2 banners, the 2 standouts are Kokomi and Faruzan. Faruzan isn't just exclusive to Scaramouche, she helps with any animal character, so I'd recommend going for Kokomi's banner and maybe you'll pull a few copies of Faruzan. For the weapons banner, it's an easy skip. When going for weapons, for non-whales, it's generally a good idea to go for a universal 5-star weapon, meaning it can be used for a lot of characters. Staff of Homa is an example of this where almost all pull-on characters can benefit from it. Moonglow will be great for healers and HP characters like Baizhu and obviously Kokomi, but you can always craft Prototype Amber as a substitute. Remembrance is pretty strong, but its effect, however, is meant for characters that specializes with normal attacks, and not every Catalyst user uses normal attacks, so unless you want a shot at getting a stat stick, it's better to save your gems. Rest of the 4 stars, it's an easy pass, aside from the Favonius bow, but it's an old weapon, so you should have a lot of it by now. Well, let me know if you're pulling for anyone specific. Again, I recommend you pulling for Kokomi if you don't have her yet. She's 100% a must-have, but I think most of us are saving for Fontaine, and I know Linny is coming out very soon, so regardless, good luck on your pulls, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for future Genshin Impact videos. Till next time, everyone.